This Torah class is brought to you by TorahAnytime.com.
Bruchim Habayim. Good afternoon, everyone. Orchos Chaim of the Rosh. Ois Lamed Vav. Something here I want to share with you, which is really very powerful. Says the Holy Rosh, Kivan kavein betfilascha. Have intent in your tefillah, ki hatefillah hi avodas halev. Tefillah is the service of the heart. This is such an important statement because almost everybody forgets this. Most people say or think tefillah is the act of the mouth and is enhanced through the kavanah of the heart. No, tefillah is the avodah of the heart, which means, says Rabbi Cheskel Levenstein in the Ari Cheskel on the Orchos Chaim of the Rosh, he says that Rabbi Rucham would say, davening with your mind wandering is like putting tefillin on your knee. Let's say you saw a guy putting tefillin on his knee. First of all, you'd say he's a complete meshugana. Second of all, you'd say it's a bizayon. He's not even doing the mitzvah with the right limb. Likewise, if someone says the words of tefillah, but in his heart he's thinking, what's going to be for breakfast? What's going to be for lunch? When is my next carpool? Why does the guy next to me come late? Why does the guy next to me come early? Why does the guy next to me daven so loud? Why does the guy next to me not daven at all? Then it's like putting tefillin on your knee. Because now you're not davening with your heart, you're davening with your mouth. So think of it that way. That davening without kavana, Rabbi Rucham would say, tefillah b'loi kavana, hu kahanachas tefillin al hatzavar. That not only you're not mekayim the mitzvah kol ikar, it's a bizayon. Tefillah is avodas halev. See, really? I thought it's avodah, an exercise of oral pronunciation. Well, that's why you need to say it loud enough that your heart hears it. That's why the halacha is, you have to be shoimeya ma shemedaber. Tzarich shehalev yishma ma shemoitzi mipiv. Because if your heart doesn't hear, it's very hard for the heart to be involved. So now I want to share with you one of the most powerful things I've ever seen. Says the Roy Keach, page Shin Tezvav, in his Perush on Shemona Esrei. What is a person's main nisayon every day? You know, you get up in the morning. What is your main challenge? The main nisayon b'chol yom is kavanas hatfila, that you're speaking to God face to face. Therefore, you need to have kavana. That's the main nisayon of the day. Do we consider it that? Do we view it that way? Do we view that our main nisayon of the day is kavanas hatfila? What an awesome thought. Says the Chavos Havavos, Shar Chezron Nefesh Par Gimel Chezron Chav Daled. One has to be mistakel and misboinein in the words of tefillah, so that when you say them, you know what you're doing. And don't act like you did in your childhood, where you just said the words of tefillah, however they came out. We know that Reb Chaim Volozhiner writes a little bit differently than this, that we don't really know the full kavanah of tefillah. And what we do know is the Anshe Knesset Agdoila sort of loaded and programmed that the words of tefillah have tremendous effectuation and tremendous effects in Shamayim. He even says a remarkable thing, that through great nevuah, they were programmed into the tefillah, that every tefillah that would ever be uttered from the beginning of time, from Avraham Avinu Shachris until the Yemais HaMashiach, every tefillah brings a little bit of a different tikkun and a different effectuation, and no tefillah that was ever recited will accomplish and do what another tefillah does. In other words, what what the world needs with today's mincha, tomorrow's mincha will be different. What the Chazal programmed into tomorrow's mincha is only into tomorrow's mincha, and there was never a tefillah like tomorrow's mincha, and there never will again be a tefillah like tomorrow's mincha. Every tefillah has been programmed with unique programming to be mashlim and be masakein what the world needs at that particular time, and that could have only been programmed through the Ruach HaKodesh of Chazal. Says the Rosh, V'im bincha yedaber lecha, if your kid speaks to you, v'loi milibai, and he's not really thinking about what he's saying, because he's focused on something else, it's annoying. Halo yichar lecha, you get upset at him. Umatasa tipasrucha lefnei malka shalaylam, so then, what should be done to a putrid drop, who his mind is racing and wandering when he speaks to the King of the universe? So it is important to harness one's thoughts to be focused on the meaning and objective of one's tefillah. Don't be like a servant who was given an honorable task for his own benefit, and he ruined it. How could he stand before the king in such a way? Says the Rosh, Umatoiv levakesh slicha al imracha slach lanu b'lei kavana. Certainly one has to have kavana throughout the tefillah, and if one did not, it's actually a chesaron. It's a chait to say words of tefillah without thought. But more than requesting slicha for not having kavanah by davening is to request slicha for not having kavanah when you ask God to forgive your sin. The worst sin of not being mechavein is to say salach lanu without kavanah. Meaning, of all the brachos of Shemana Esrei, obviously besides the first, the most important bracha to have kavanah is salach lanu. Because could it be that you have an opportunity to ask God for forgiveness and you're not even thinking about what you're doing? Is there a greater chutzpah than that? To be mizvadeh shaloi bekavana, that means you don't really think you did anything wrong. That's the greatest infraction. You're standing before God, the door is open to save yourself, and you're not even valuing it. Says the Rosh, if it's not possible to be mechavein throughout the tefillah, at the very least, bracha rishona shel Shemana Esrei, the first blessing of Shemana Esrei, upasuk rishon shel Kriya Shema, al yechsar. Don't miss being mechavein the first bracha of Shemana Esrei and the first pasuk of Kriya Shema. Ki lo yatsa chayvas hatfila, you will not fulfill your obligation of prayer. Mi shalai kivan bahem, one who did not have kavana. But again, to reiterate, the Roikeach writes, Iker nisayon ha'adam b'chol yom hi kavanas hatfila. The main nisayon every day is being mechavein in davening. And therefore, Rav Goldberg writes, it is certainly an important thing and a good thing that to set aside time to learn the Siddur and learn it like you would learn Gemara, like you would learn any sugya. Because how could one possibly have kavanah on the fly? It's something that has to be prepared for. If I could make a brief commercial, we happen to have a shir every Friday at 10:35 on Biur Tefillah, and you can listen to it after. But it's a very good idea. Probably the best way to upgrade your tefillah is to learn the tefillah. And then we will be matzliach in Iker Nisayon Ha'adam B'chal Yom. Okay, we'll hold it over here. Bez Hashem, we'll pick it up next week, Monday, Oislam et Zayin. Wishing everyone a great night. Stay tuned. Tonight's shir, 8:30, Geshmaka Inyan, relevant to Golos, relevant to Chanukah, and relevant to every day. Okay, everyone, Kol Tov, have a good night. Bye-bye.
You've just experienced another Torah class brought to you by TorahAnytime.com.